I don't know. I figured I would try it out and see if you were interested at all. So, that said, what I'm doing here is I am editing the photography that I took on my honeymoon in New Zealand. Now, you might be wondering, why would I don't know, why would I do something like that? But this is my least favorite stage of sort of taking pictures. I'm a bit of a hobbyist with uh, with a camera, and but I drag it with me whenever I do things. And so I took a number of pictures. I've been given explicit instructions by my wife not to show any pictures of her in this. So excuse me if I, switch and jump over. Come on. Come on, window. There we go. Needed to get the chat showing. So anyway, so on the first day of, right when we landed in Auckland, we went to New Zealand, spent a couple weeks there over Thanksgiving, and right upon arriving at like 8:30 in the morning, we drove down from Auckland to Mata Mata or Meta Meta, depending on how it's pronounced, I don't know. And we went to see the Hobbit movie set, or Hobbiton. And it's out in the country, and there's all kinds of sheep and everything there. So just to show you a little bit of what we're dealing with here, and I apologize that it takes so long for I keep all of my photography on an external hard drive, and the external hard drive is connected by USB 2.0, so it's very slow, and I know. But that's where it is, and that's where it's stored, so that's what we deal with. So this was there's like obviously a little water mill here and a bridge. And you may recognize things from the movie, but I can't honestly tell you what I'm looking for as I click through these and decide which ones to edit and which ones not to, or what I'm doing, but I can try if you're interested. So this little move here is cloudy skies are a bit of a challenge. And you can use the highlights function to bring out the detail in the clouds, but I'm using a graduated filter right at the top to just sort of isolate and fade from the rest of this. If I had done it to the whole picture, that might be, it would make the rest of it look a little bit dimmer. So I think this is looking, here, let's undo that. No, I want to stay on this picture. Okay. Yeah, and maybe a little bit brighter. Yeah, we can take that down, I think. I don't know. I'm not in love with it. It's just kind of, there's nothing here to draw the eye. So we'll move on and see what else we have here. Is one of those things where all right, so here's a good example. So you want to see, we've got a lot of sky in this picture, which is kind of boring, especially since there's nothing going on up here. But if I just take the highlights and drag it down, suddenly the sky is very interesting, but everything else got dragged down as well. And you can see once that undoes, so it's subtle. But so usually what I would do is I would take a graduated filter, but before I get into the graduated filter, I see what the auto adjustment suggests. Usually it changes the exposure, but yeah, still. So this was the watermill, and I thought I was standing with the Green Dragon pub or inn at my back, and I just don't know if this is interesting enough to do anything with. So I'm clicking through. I go every 3 pictures because I was using bracketing with my camera, and so it took 3 different exposures each time I took a picture, starting with an underexposed, irregularly exposed, and an overexposed, just by one EV setting. So that's more of the same. I think that's kind of cool because it's got the hobbit holes in the background. So let's see. It gets brought up a bit. Let's see what fussing with highlights does now. Well, kind of like some of that. So we'll bring that, just because it gives a little bit more detail here in the grass. You can brighten it just a bit with the shadows. Looks like it's set the whites and the blacks. Let's see. I struggle with contrast. Yeah, that looks all right. Let's see what this next picture is, see if that's more interesting. It's like the little fisherman's hole there. So this one is just focused on this. The grass is not very interesting. So if we come over here, now we've got the tree, and that's interesting. We cut out some of the less interesting stuff, and I want to say that I focused on these flowers maybe. It's pretty remarkable. All right, it looks like it's focused on this plant right here, or possibly these. Yeah, so one other thing I could do is I could zoom, I could leave this, I could crop it, and I think this one's actually going to be a good one. If I can, let's play with a graduated filter, just, no, let's do this. Move that up there. Change the highlights. Like right there. All right, so that's a little bit, that's interesting. And we can see if cropping it does anything for us. Need the Adobe Flash Player to participate in chat. Well, that's too bad that it doesn't think I've got it. Man. Well, we can refresh that page and see if that helps, but there we go. Yeah, so you know, so if I've got right now, I've got it locked to keep the aspect ratio as it currently is. So I could shrink it down to that, or I can move it like so. Now if you see, you've got these, it's broken into grids of 3, and these points are where the eye is naturally drawn in a picture. So if I want the bag or this little flower here to be a point of interest, it should, like this should draw then the eye up to here. So just to see what that looks like. Yeah, see, I think that's interesting. And excuse me. I think I like that, although I feel like there's one more thing that needs to be done, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. It almost feels... No, go back. Maybe it needs to be a little bit brighter. All right, so I set that to 5 so that it comes back and reminds me. All right, those are of my wife. I need to avoid those. Understandably, since this was our honeymoon, there are going to be a lot of pictures of my wife that I'm going to need to click through. I don't like these where I've got other tourists in the background. That frustrates me. But let's see. Come on. Take me back here. I've only just started working with cropping and changing the angle manually, and that honestly I've been able to take some of these pictures and actually turn them into something that I like in doing so. So that's a kind of an exciting change. Let's see. So that was where we had breakfast. There were vents down below. Yeah, looking out on the water. This is touristy stuff, more pictures of my wife. And this is, I hope, a picture of a bird. Yeah, there we go. So as it turns out, these birds are like pigeons. They're everywhere. I feel like I'm waiting for it to resolve even further, but I think that's as good as it's going to get. Another shot at this bird. We were up in a redwood forest. They've got like a suspended... Yeah, that bird was not cooperating. They had a suspended bridge walk that you could do, and so we did that. Yeah, that's more personal interest than just a good photo. All of the forests and woods around here had these ferns in them, and it was just lush. Everywhere you looked was, foliage, and dense foliage at that. And I'm not sure what I was probably just trying to capture that. Although looking out at the woods doesn't do much for me right now. So that's another picture of my wife. These plants, oh man, I forgot the name. On one of the many events that we went on, the guide was telling us the names of all of these plants. And I'm trying to remember. There was a type of honey. There were two plants. Manuka. Manuka honey sells for something like $100 a gram or something ridiculous like that. And it comes in various purities. And the Manuka plant and the Kanuka plant are very similar looking, but the Manuka means mean. And when you kind of put your hand, when you grab one of the leaves that's on the Manuka, it's prickly and so mean. And then the Kanuka, which is the other type of fern, is kind, is what it means in the, I think, Maori tongue. And let's see what happens here. I really liked these ferns, and I took a lot of pictures of plants. Let's see if this changes. Okay, it didn't change much. It's hard to also know which exact area you are focused on, because sometimes it's hard to know. So I like that, so I'm going to keep it. I'll mark it 5, and we can come back later and see if that's really worth a 5. I give things 5 so that I know which ones to print or whatever. Ooh, that's cool. Look at that. You can see the texture in the tiny little leaves. Now, so I'm tempted here. All right, so all right, it brightened it up a bit. Bringing the highlights down like that. Man, I can't keep my throat clear, so I apologize. Added more detail and texture to these. So if I come in, I leave it keeping the aspect ratio. No. Nope. That is not what I want. There, so get it right there. Now let's take a look. Nope. I don't know, I like it though. And we can take this one, or maybe this one, either the over or the underexposed. Yeah, see, I just think that's cool. And I like what it did with the auto tone. I don't know. See, when I drag the highlights down like that, you can see the stem in there. But I don't know if that's what I'm looking for here. All right, up, what did I just do? Okay. We'll set that to 5. What the hell, we'll set that to 5. And do a little bit more cropping here. Maybe even smaller. I don't know about that. All right, let's see. I've never really been one for, I've never been a huge fan, or at very least never been much of a photographer of macro photography. So things like this are a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but I still think it's pretty neat. So just seeing the different, like how it curls and unwinds, and just the colors and how fresh it looks on each one. All right, let's keep moving. See what else there is to see. There are more ferns, more flora, not so much fauna. I really liked that this that this was in sunlight, but that's a boring picture. Unless I can really adjust detail zoom by clicking an area. Yeah, all right, what about that? I guess that could be another cropped. The nice thing about having this many megapixels is you can crop it down really small and still have it look pretty good. Oh, that's a wife picture. We gotta skip over that. The new growth, I got a kick out of that. And this is another one of those tricky things where the sky was probably blue and interesting through here, but because it was darker throughout, it was hard to see that. So if I take the highlights and I drag them all the way, oh, boy, that really... I need to undo that. That was bad. All right, I think that's a wife picture. That's a wife picture. Skipping over all of those. It's too bad, really. 'Cause this is the time when I'm going through and doing my editing. Those photos aren't going to get edited. How will people know that I'm married and I have a wife if she's not in all of the pictures? I don't know. I ask myself that. Oh, what do we have here? So these look like foxgloves. Now, these things grow like, not just like weeds, but I think they are weeds over there because they're everywhere. Like just in the wilderness, they grow up and they're thick and healthy looking. So these are some, I know that I'm sort of skipping over them because there's nothing really interesting going on behind them. And I've got some better images either coming up like this or in a while. because I know later, like a week later in our trip, I really went nuts taking pictures of foxgloves. So it's too bad that with this picture, it's not more in focus. Yeah, I think I was probably targeting this down here, but it just, I either didn't hold it still enough or, yeah, that is too bad. We're gonna have to skip through maybe to this one, see how that looks. That looks fuzzy. I mean, it's, yeah, that's really too bad. So maybe that's what it was focused on, because a lot of this is not coming out. But like I said, we've got enough pictures of foxgloves, and it's not like we're running a nursery here, so we don't need to. A picture of a flower is not the be-all, end-all. Oh, there, that's a little bit more clear. You can see the hair on the inside of the flower there. Let's see. Black swans. There were black swans aplenty. I need to skip over the wife. Up, 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 up. Yep. Nope. Keep on trucking. Come on, hard drive. Keep up. I've got water pictures and sunsets and things to glorify. So we stayed at a place called Braxmere after leaving Rotorua, I think is where we were staying originally. So, and the back of our these are all pictures out of the back of our room. There's just like one string of rooms, and they all back on this little grassy area here, and the water is right there. I want to say this is Lake Taupo, but I don't remember for sure. So let's see. I think we're going to have to really play with this sky. And you notice the distortion here in the corners is because I was zoomed out as wide as I could get it. And unfortunately, that's just... No, that's not going to help. But sun was setting. Dusk over there really took its sweet time. Like, this was how well it was lit for like what seemed like 4 or 5 hours. Like, the sun would go behind the hill and the sky would still be light, and then you're left. So there's our room. I don't remember which one of these is ours. I think it was 3. I think it was this one. So this is our room right here. And let's see if we can get that sunset to pop a bit. All right. Let's do one of these. And one of these. And maybe even something like that. And we can bring up saturate it a little bit more. That's kind of nice, although I don't know if it's worth, like, if a picture of your hotel, nobody's like, ooh, a hotel, that's wonderful. Like, nobody, including me, nobody looks at photos like that and really thinks that they're beautiful. So these are a bunch of wife pictures, and this was right at the beginning of the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. It was like, I'm going to speak in Fahrenheit here because I don't know what it was in centigrade, but everyone was talking in centigrade, so it was like 30 degrees. It was not very cold, but it was chilly. We were dressed for it, and it was good. But it was pretty barren, and that's going to be a recurring theme as we go through all of these pictures, that it just was desolate. And there's a beauty in that desolation, but let's see what, if anything, can be done with these. you know, I like when there's weather and fog. Like it adds a lot of feeling to the photo. But without the sun hitting something, it's just a very flat light, and it just looks boring. So I might just be clicking through these and finding that most of them, I mean, you know, we can add a little, bring out, not add, I guess is a better way to view it, is we can bring out some of what was going on here. Again, you can see a little distortion there. I'm not super excited about any of these, really. There were a lot of people on this crossing with us. They were just bussing people in and dropping them off. This was a small... I have a thing for waterfalls, and there was water falling here, so I figured I should take a picture of it in case I didn't see any bigger waterfalls. And there really weren't that many, so there are people. We followed them the entire way. We sort of, when you're on long hikes like that, especially with a bunch of people, you end up falling or finding yourself eventually in and around people who walk at your speed. So for us, we just, you know, we found a bunch of people who were moving like we were, and as they would take breaks, we would pass them, and as we would take breaks, they would pass us, and that's just kind of how it went. Now this is getting to be a little bit more interesting because we've got something going on there, but again, you know, Mordor isn't just a gorgeous walk in the woods. Like, I hate to say it, but I thought it was beautiful and I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure that it lends itself very well to photography until perhaps a little bit later. So let's try to, this might have something worthwhile in it. It's hard to know a lot of times. For me anyway. I look at a picture and sometimes, like I snapped the picture, I obviously took it, so I thought something was there and I enjoyed what I was looking at, but yeah, so yeah, just something's missing, and I would guess that it'll raise the, I think something's missing here as well. Yeah. I don't know. There's just nothing. There was no wildlife. There was no, I mean, literally no wildlife. I think I maybe saw 2 birds over the course of 6.5 hours. And the higher we went, it was just rocky and not, the plant life that existed was primarily this kind of stuff, like lichen and just moss that grew on stuff, little tufts of grass. But, you know, it gets very windy. There's a waterfall. And just, there's a person for perspective. It was quite a ways off. We didn't end up walking over there because we had a lot ahead of us and no time to dilly-dally. So we left that one alone. That's a blurry rock face if I've seen one. Come on. It had to be better than that. Was I just not holding the camera still? Like, what is wrong with me? Yep, more rocks. Now finally we get some blue sun or blue sky. And I think we're still in shadow here. So this might be a little bit more interesting. Maybe. Let's keep clicking and see what comes up here. That's boring. Let's give this one a 4. So that we'll know to come back and kind of consider it. That's boring. Same kind of boring. Now this is my attempt at capturing a lava flow. That looks like a middle finger, but we won't get into that. You can see that it's a very different color, and the lava flow kind of fell or slowly creeped down in this path here. Now there were also pyroclastic flows, which is like really hot gas that, unlike lava, when you look at it and you see it slowly, you know, oozing down a mountain, A pyroclastic flow, if I'm remembering the word correctly, is superheated gas that just rushes down the side of the mountain at something like 60 miles an hour and or more. And there's really nothing that you can do to get out of its way, and if you get hit by it, you're pretty much dead. So not a lot of people surviving pyroclastic flow. Oh, wait, that's a wife picture. Got to skip over that. There's more people there. Some of these, it's like I knew there was, like, we walked all the way around down here. This is like where our path took us. So some of it's remembering the journey, which was quite the journey. And some of it is trying to see and knowing that there's something here, that this in shadow and this in sun is, oh, somebody's here. Hello. I'm just working on some photos from my trip a couple weeks back over Thanksgiving. And I figured, take a break from the gaming and do some Lightroom work. And yeah, so I was down in New Zealand, and this is where you can walk into Mordor. Well, if you have a cell phone, and most people do, or even if you don't, cameras or finding a camera of any kind is really pretty easy these days. And yeah, Lightroom, it's a slow process. I found that I could sort of muddle through a little bit on my own, but once I started watching YouTube videos and sort of picking some things up, that it became step by step and bit by bit a little bit easier. So like if we look at, look at this picture. For the first, I don't even know how many years, all I would do is I would hit this auto tone button. It would change things automatically, and I'd be like, well, I like it or I don't. And then I would leave it because I didn't know how to do anything else. This may be a bad photo to do this with, but let me find something with a little bit more, I don't know, variation in color or something. Do you take pictures now? I mean, do you have a camera or something that you play with? No, I didn't take these with my phone. I have a Nikon that I drag around with me. It's pretty heavy. Okay, so looking at this, so one of the videos, or one of the first videos I looked at for Lightroom said, oh, you just go into most photos and you drag the highlights all the way down and you can see, hey, look, now there's, some texture in the clouds. And you drag the shadows almost all the way up to sort of bring things back out. And then you can play with the rest. And that's very basic stuff. But, the more you play with it, the more you can find that, oh, okay, maybe I don't like what this is doing to the rest of my photo, and you can only apply it to certain sections, and there's all kinds of nuanced ways. They say that the best camera that you can have is the one that you carry with you, or the one that you have with you. I do know what Reddit is. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on Reddit. I've usually focused, at least to learn things about Lightroom, I've usually gone to YouTube and lynda.com, which I got access to for a while through LinkedIn. Are you a big Redditor? That one still looks a little... I mean, I feel like there's something there, but... For photo appreciation, maybe I'll check it out. It's always good to have a little bit of, not just appreciation, but have a community of people that sort of are supporting you, learning and growing at what you're doing. You should try it. There's very recently, like within the last 6 months, Adobe released a different version of Lightroom that they call, well, their naming conventions are terrible, but for the longest time it was called Lightroom CC, which was their creative cloud. And it's just the version that you have access to. But now there's two versions. There's Lightroom CC 2015, which is the classic, quote unquote classic version. And then there's sort of a newer and somewhat more streamlined version that is just Lightroom CC, and it's got like a little bit lighter blue icon, but it's simplified. It doesn't, I think it takes a little bit of the functionality away, but it makes it a little bit more accessible in doing so. So they have this thing where you can have a subscription for $10 a month, and it gives you access to both Photoshop and Lightroom. So that might be worth toying with and looking into. What sorts of things do you like to take pictures of? As you can see, I like to randomly take pictures of weeds and shrubbery. I can't explain it, but that's... Yeah, see, I want this to be cooler and look better than it does. I mean, it's neat that you can see the tufts of grass where the water... Yeah, I'm partial to landscapes as well, which you'll probably find. And when you say cities, are you talking like architectural photography or like street photography of people? Let me scroll over here and get to more. I've only recently started traveling, and my wife is really big into travel, and she dragged me on an international trip last year for the first time. Yeah, I feel the same way. Not that there's anything wrong with people, of course, but there's something about capturing architecture from especially different eras or different cultures that I just find really, really fascinating. And that was one of the first trips that I was able to actually do, photography of that. It's also a hard word to spell, so I don't blame you on that one. Where I guess where are you from? Again, I feel like the sun here makes it interesting or worth exploring, but there's just nothing. They say that you should have like a point of focus. Nice. I'm in California, kind of a little bit south of San Francisco. And I guess there's probably good architecture and things to take pictures of locally, but I really only take my camera with me when I'm going like either hiking for a long hike or someplace other than around here. Yeah, I like the sun off of these rocks. Well, see, just recently, like just this evening, there's a crop function, which don't tell her, but my wife has an iPhone and I'm not a big Apple fan, but whenever she takes a picture, she can very quickly just tap it and either rotate it or crop it in a way. And so I just discovered this evening that obviously it existed in here. And I don't like how bright that made it, but let's see. We'll undo that. And nope, we're gonna make it a little bit less bright. Yeah, I don't know. There's just no focal point. There's nothing sort of drawing. I'm gonna keep on moving and see what I come across. But thank you. But yeah, so I was watching her on this trip because she was using her iPhone to take pictures of us and mostly, selfies and where we were at. And she would just pop it out and spin it a little bit and crop it down and then be like, okay, that's good. I'm going to share that with my friends, my family. And no one has seen any of these pictures because this whole Lightroom process it takes me a while. But I'm trying to get quicker and I'm trying to get better at it. One thing that helps is if you have a bunch of pictures of a very similar thing, is you can save the development settings and apply them just like copy and paste. You can just apply this to this one, apply it to the next one. So if you have a good formula, instead of having to do it for each picture, and that's one of the volcanoes. That's a terrible zoom in, but that was right at the top of the first climb that we were on. I think I have a picture. Yeah, people continuing on. But yeah, if you have a bunch of pictures that are similar, so this is the same mountain again, only thankfully without the people eating their snacks. Yeah, have you ever been to New Zealand? This is my first trip. Yeah, I want to see the top of this mountain though. Maybe, let's see, if we maintain the aspect ratio, but, well, we're not going to be able to maintain the aspect. Let's unlock that. And then we can get a little bit of that and see what that looks like. Yeah, that's a little, I don't know. I'll give it 4 so you can like, I think originally Lightroom's main selling point and purpose was file management and organization. So the fact that you can just hit a number and flag it with 4 stars or 5 stars so that you can come back to it later. And when you import it, it puts it in folders for you based on the date. It's really, it's really helpful in that. Okay, here we go. This, assuming it, there we go. So this is kind of neat. It's across a pretty barren valley, and I don't have anything for reference as far as, I don't have anything for reference for scale so that you can see like how far these things are. Right now it just looks a little And let's see if we're going to add something to the sky. No, there's not much to see there. Yeah. We'll have to delete that and get rid of it. And we'll just keep on trucking, I think. Let's undo that. And do we have another one of that? No. Okay. So this one I think will also get 4 stars. No, that exposure is good. All right. Yeah, I don't know what I can do with this. Like, there's some variation in light here, but it's a little boring still. So I'm going to just leave it and keep on trucking. There's that mountain I can't seem to get out of the... I call this... I don't know what I call this yet. But there are people up there. Tiny little people. Yeah, we can see some steam on the ground, which I think that was what I was trying to capture here. Just that this little... The ground itself was steaming. And I thought that was pretty cool. Looking back on the trail that we came on and seeing that mountain again. So let's see if we can't... Oh, that's... I like that. I like the blue and... All right, what the hell? Let's give that 5 stars. We'll put that in the water. There's water here. I found water. But we'll put that one in the collection. I don't know if merely just having brown water is what we're all about here. This little stick and this, I think, kind of kill it for me. But let's see. All right, that brightened it up. Let's just see what the clouds would look like. Okay, we don't like that. All right, yeah, I like that one, but I like snow-covered mountains, as you're finding out. Oh, see that? That's blurry. That's bad. Well, is it though? I don't know. Yeah, I'm struggling with this a little bit. So I got some blue here. I've got some of the snow, variations of light. I think that's might be, yeah, what the hell. I'll keep it. I have this problem where I can't. It's like with books. I can't throw away books or get rid of books. And in the same vein, I can't. Almost never delete photos unless they're just absolutely terrible. My rationale is that there will inevitably come a time where I am much better at Lightroom, and I'll come back and I'll have some amazing photos that I can actually extract from what I've got, and I will be glad that I didn't throw things away that I thought were either challenging or that there was something wrong with them, and that really what was wrong with them was my critical eye and my ability to see like what I can do with it or what it could become. So this is kind of neat with the way the shadows are playing here. I kind of like that, so I'm going to keep that. And I'm also pleased that I'm making progress through here, and I'm being discerning enough that I'm not spending a ton of time just, you know, going over every single picture. Granted, I'm clicking through every third because I did bracketing and every, you know, like I said, there's 3 of each one is, I don't need to do this to each one of the 3. I just need to pick one. And I like that. I don't know that I want to change it too much, if at all. So I could, yeah, you know, I'm okay with that, the clouds there like that. Keep clicking through. Now this one, okay, that one had it. I like the contrast of the color of these rocks to that. And again, more rocks. I think we're just going to have a whole lot of pictures of rocks here. And a very desolate landscape. Like you could almost think that we're looking out on the surface of Mars here, if it weren't for the plant life that is off in the distance. Yeah, we're at a point in our climb here. This is like the second, maybe even the third big climb. I think it was the second one. And you finally get a view of the valley and the land beyond, so to speak. And there's nothing going on over here. At most there may be some logging, but I don't think you can see it from this vantage. Let's see. None of this is grabbing me. Another sun-dappled mountain picture. See if this does anything to it. Well, kind of. Yeah, I like it. I know I probably shouldn't because I've already got a few of these, but yeah. Bring out some of the red there. I'll keep it. Yeah, this is going much quicker than I thought it would. And I am glad. Trust me. The fact that I might actually get through all of these. Now, granted, I've had to skip over the wife pictures, and that's unacceptable. But, yeah, I like this. You can see a little bit of water. You can see the mountain. Just bring out the colors a little bit. Make it pop, and that's nice. See this? Okay, so I kind of like the contrast down here between the shadows and the trail more with their version than with mine. So I'm going to leave it at 5. Nope, nope. That's a wife picture. We got to skip over that one. Almost halfway through. I think I'm going to go until we're halfway through, and then tomorrow I'll pick up there and do the second half, hopefully. It'll probably take about an hour, but it's Friday, and I can do that. And if you're interested in joining me, then you too should come back. Come on, computer. Catch up. This was a cleft that I thought was just really interesting in it looks like you're looking at like powdered sugar consistency dirt here that you could just go over and like, if you put your foot down, you would sink all the way down for like 100 feet into this thing. But yeah, it looked like somebody carved a piece out of this cake and let it pop. Let's see here. I honestly don't know what the best picture is of this or whether it's worth even photographing. It's like things were red. And hello to the new viewer. Thank you for joining me. I'm going through my honeymoon photos. I just got back from New Zealand and we did a number of hikes and adventures down there. And this is the walk into Mordor. And it is appropriately desolate. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of these if I like the textures here. That's interesting. Let's see what auto tone does. That really brightened it up quite a bit. Turn down the whites, blacks. No, I gotta undo that. Oh, I don't know. I think we just need to turn down. All right, let's undo that. And let's try to, yeah, I'm going to save it, but I'm going to give it a 4. I'm not sure if I definitely am sold on that one yet or not. All right, let's auto tone that. See what, ooh, that's nice. I would guess that it'll be, we will need to perhaps turn down the exposure. No. Here, let's also do this. We'll, okay. Yeah, honestly, like it's hard to dehaze. Where's the dehaze? There we go. Oh, yeah. All right. That's a bit much, but man, I don't know. What do you think? Does that? I don't feel like that's. Yeah, I think the sky just looks too fucked with. Undo the graduated filter. Yeah. Yeah, why don't we just delete this? And take that off. And maybe we can, I don't know, it's just blue right through there. It just feel like there's something here, but I can't find it. Maybe I will come back. Okay, more rocks, more mountains, more jagged rocks, more of the same. Again with more of the same. And here's another attempt at grabbing this thing. It doesn't look very in focus, I'll tell you that. I'm trying to figure out what I was trying to focus on here. It wasn't this. Wasn't any of this. Well, maybe we can, that's relatively, okay. So let's see what we can work with this. Yeah. I don't like to toy with saturation too much. Like it has a way of, a little saturation goes a long way. I'll give that 5 stars, but that's not my favorite 5-star. I know that that's kind of counterintuitive, but I also feel like I should be doing something else right now. I don't know what it is. I don't have any homework. I haven't had homework in a long time. All right, skipping the wife picture. And so these are thermal pools up here. They were very green and emerald. And a lot of fucking people, unfortunately. Yeah. My wife took a much better picture of this than I did. Which is great for her. Not as cool for me. Just because I would like to have cool photos of this. But let's see what we can do. All right, we'll take off that filter. Make the colors pop a little bit. Yeah. All right, well, that's the best that we got. I might try, let's lock the aspect ratio and see if we can crop it a little bit. Just like that, maybe? No, that, I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot lost that's up in this corner here. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll leave the 5 stars on it too. And another shot at that cleft, man. Just nothing really did it. Nothing looked good. There were so many people on this hike with us. It was virtually impossible to get shots without bystanders in the picture eating granola, or I don't even know. So there's that one mountain we've got a bunch of pictures of already. Here's the cleft. I don't know. That's a little. Here we go. Let's. Yeah, what the hell. All right, wife pictures. Emerald pool. Small enough, though, that, or at least far enough away from the people that they aren't exactly ruining the photo. Let's see. All right, and okay. I'll take that one. And let's see what this one comes out to. No. That's kind of unreal. All right, gotta skip over more wife pictures. And this was the third climb. No, this is what we came down. It was very slippery. Lots of gravel. Let's see if we can make that. No, that's not it. Let's take that down a little bit. Make that pop just a bit. We'll keep that one. And there's someone over there, but we can maybe crop them out or put it into Photoshop and just get rid of them. So let's see here. We'll try auto tone. Do that. And let's see. Bring out a bit of the color. And let's maybe, all right, aspect ratio is locked. Is that interesting? Is that more interesting? Yeah, I like that. That way we've got the dude out of there. I mean, there's still these people down here, but you can't always get rid of everybody. Let's see, that's a different version of the same photo. That one's a little higher. Oh, maybe further left or right. This might be interesting with the deep blue. Pretty much all of the water that was there had this just emerald color to it. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll just bring that out a little bit. And let's see. Oh, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. So, yeah, maybe we need to compensate a little bit. Bring out some of those. I'll keep it. Man, I've been able to find things to keep here, and I was really not feeling, what is this? Is that a rock? Is that a llama? That looks like a llama. I don't think that was a llama. But, yeah, I wasn't sure that any of these pictures would really turn out in a way that I would be proud of or want to keep. So it's nice to maybe a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Let's keep that one too. Making headway now. Looking back at the water, we're getting pictures of water falling. Man. Is there anything in focus? We focused on these rocks right here. Now I kind of like... no. You can see the roads out there. I'm not sure I like that one. I don't like what I'm seeing here. Let's see. Oh. I do like snow. I take a lot of pictures of snow. So, not here necessarily, but usually when I'm up in the mountains, I'm taking pictures of snow. But let's see. I think it's a little boring, but yeah. This is looking back, obviously, because these people are walking towards me. but that's where we came out of and where the lakes were. So maybe we can bring that out and crop it just a bit and get those people out of it. What does that look like? That's not bad. A little bit of color there. There's the cleft that I enjoy taking pictures of so much. And that's kind of neat with the blue and the... Yeah, I like that. The shadows and the sun. Yeah. Yeah, that's the ticket. It is getting near my bedtime though, so I'm going to have to... I got to halfway, got a little bit past halfway, and I can do the rest tomorrow, I think. It's going to be earlier in the afternoon because later in the evening I'm going to be streaming our Errant Gamer attempt at the Destiny 2 raid, which it's going to be a debacle, but it'll be a fun debacle. Hopefully we'll be playing with people we haven't played with yet, and maybe we'll make some new friends. Everybody likes new friends. Well, not everybody. Stranger danger is something I personally ascribe to, but oh yeah, look, there's the little... Let's see if we can't make this into something. Yeah, make it pop a little bit. Bring out the colors a bit. Yeah, I'll keep it. And I think I'm actually going to keep that one. You can see the shadow from the clouds there a little bit more. And I need to bring out the colors a bit, or the light. And that's neat. I mean, hopefully it'll resolve and I can see into the water in the same way that I could. Well, maybe not. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know if there's much to be salvaged here. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of neat. Also, you can see the top of the mountain that I've been trying to capture for a long time. Yeah, bring out a little bit of the color there. Come back. Yeah, that's... yeah, what the hell. All right, one more photo, and then we're going to call it. Oh, reflection on the water. And snow. Water and... Boy, this is right up my alley. I don't want to do that too much. Let's see. Yeah. Let's fix it. Come on. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, one more. One more. And this is clearly focused on this weed. This will go in the long line of weed photos by Abe. I'll have a gallery set up somewhere down in Carmel. Just weeds and flowers from those weeds. And it will be called Abe's Weeds. All right, the name is a work in progress, but you understand where I'm going with this. And I think you're going to be at my gallery opening. You know what? What the hell? Let's give them the weeds. It'll be number 5. We'll rate it 5 stars. Have that come out. All right. I think I'm going to finish here. So thank you for joining me. And thank you, Master Disguise 17, for hopping on and chatting with me a bit. It was really cool to meet you. and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be streaming the Destiny 2 raid. I haven't done it yet, neither have any of my friends. And our clan is making an attempt. So Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific, we're going to give it a go. So again, thanks for joining me, and I will catch you this weekend, and have a great Friday.